Good morning, guys. What's going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for this late morning review of last night's episode of NXT. We're going to go back and talk about this episode of NXT Live. Sorry, it's still kind of waking up a little bit. Again, I'm sorry I didn't get this review out last night. I got to watch the episode, and I kind of had a lot going on last night. I had a little bit of a headache. I just couldn't really think like this whole episode through. I should go back through this morning, just like breeze through it again, just to make sure I got all my thoughts straightened up. And overall, I gotta say this episode of NXT, I still enjoyed it. But I'll be honest, it was one of those episodes that wasn't quite as strong as I've seen most episodes. I think part of it was because I did hold that main event a little bit high, and I don't think we got as good of a main event as I'd hoped for. We get to. No disrespect to Adam Cole or Eric Young. I almost said Eric O'Reilly. But I felt like this episode there was a lot in this episode, and I felt it was a little too much for an episode of NXT. There was a lot of matches, a lot of announcements, and it's not that they were bad or anything. It's just I think it did bring a little too much to the table. I think, and again, episodes like this happen, so it's like I'm not going to diss on NXT, but I just want to say it wasn't really the strongest episode of NXT this week. I felt. I mean, a lot happened, nothing bad happened, but it was just a lot to take in. Especially did kind of take away from my hype a little bit from that main event between Adam Cole and Eric Young. So I mean, that was kind of on my part, but other than that, I mean, it was still a decent episode. But we'll get into it. So we start off with General Manager William Regal announcing a fatal four-way that will take place at NXT TakeOver Houston for the vacant NXT Women's Championship. Already in that match is the winner of the Mae Young Classic, Kairi Sane, and the others will be decided in qualifying matches in the upcoming weeks. So that was a match that was officially announced. We had heard the rumors already that Kairi Sane, with her winning the Mae Young Classic, will be in the match for the vacated NXT Women's Championship. Not sure yet who will be in the match. Yeah, we still have to do the qualifying matches, but we will see as the weeks go on. So that's how we start off the show. And then before the show started, we had Sanity not come to their entrance, but just appeared. They came out from different corners of the arena, got into the ring, and Eric Young pretty much just addressed the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. Talking about how, you're talking to the team that's all about leaving their mark. Well, tonight is not going to be about leaving your mark. It's going to be about the chaos. And, pretty much just like saying, no, you're messing with the wrong people here on Undisputed Era, pretty much. So just to hype up the match, it was a very short promo, short to the point, so it's nothing really too much to say about that one there. We then had a match with Lars Sullivan against Oney Lorcan. Again, this match was was what it was, spectacular, but it was just another way to help put over Lars Sullivan. Oney Lorcan though did have a good show in this match as well. Lars Sullivan didn't get the win as they continued to build him up as a dominating, unstoppable monster. And then after the match, as usual, he goes for a post-match attack, and out came Danny Burch, who just recently did have a set of matches against Oney Lorcan, and it seems like the two of them were starting to gain some respect for each other. So I don't know, maybe they're going to eventually make them into a tag team or whatnot. I think that'd be interesting. Yeah, I do like both these guys. They both. I mean, I don't know Danny Burch as well as Oney Lorcan yet, but Oney Lorcan especially, to me, displays a lot of characteristics of Cesaro. It's the hard-hitting, not the bald head, but the elbows and such. I see a lot of potential in him as well. So I mean, if they want to form a tag team with him and Danny Burch, I'd say go for it. That'd be a very interesting touch to do. And then we did have several backstage segments also in this, where I think. I'm trying to remember what order they came. I know they had two regarding next week's match for the NXT Championship between Drew McIntyre and Roderick Strong. I know they interviewed Roddy first, and he talked about. And the interesting thing about this was, this is technically a face-on-face match, but I felt that Roderick Strong had a little bit of showed a little bit of signs of a heel in him, a little, not drastic, a little bit, because it wasn't completely I respect Drew McIntyre, blah blah blah, that stuff. we got that a little bit more from Drew McIntyre's promo, but like, Roderick Strong saying, he's doing this for his family and such as usual, but he also is telling, Drew McIntyre, wanted someone to come forward. He got me, he says, and talk about how, business eventually becomes personal, and good business becomes very personal as well. So he says, I will not stop until it is announced your new NXT champion, Roderick Strong. He doesn't stop at any cost, pretty much. But it was interesting promo, and with the rumors, with his ROH buddies, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish looking around, you do wonder, would he at all get involved with them at some point? We'll have to wait and see, but we'll see what happens in the upcoming week, especially next week too, as he gets his title shot against Drew McIntyre. I believe around this time there was also a backstage segment interviewing Ruby Riott that was announced that Billie Kay and Peyton Royce won a rematch against both her and Nikki Cross, because it was last week before. It was the week before they had there was a match where Ruby Riott requested she wanted to be just a 2-on-1 handicap match with her. With her against the Iconic Duo, but general manager William Regal said she had to have a tag team partner. She didn't have a partner at first, but then she, Nikki Cross finally came out during the match and was just watching it, and then she tagged herself in, and then they ended up picking up the victory, and Nikki tagged herself out and left, and then pretty much Ruby Riott was asked, like, about how you feel about this match, and then Ruby's like, let's make something straight there right away. Nikki and I, we're not friends. We're far from friends. And I still do not know why she got herself involved in the match a few weeks ago. But, if Billie and Peyton want a rematch, that's fine. And he says, he says, but, I will not be surprised if Nikki doesn't show up, but she better stay out of my business. So Ruby's like confused as well, as we all like, why did Nikki help out Ruby if they had that rivalry going on? But let's see what happens. I believe that match is, next week, I think, also, or 2 weeks, can't remember. There's a lot of stuff announced tonight. So we'll have to wait and see what goes down there with Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross as they try to take out the Iconic Duo of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. We had another match. It was Heavy Machinery against Demetrius Bronson and Patrick Scott. Just another, kind of a squash match to help, put over Heavy Machinery a little bit as well. I am interested in seeing what they do with them. They seem like they're like, the face authors of pain. I'm sure like, the event should be like a team to beat in the NXT tag team division. As I'm not sure if AOP is still going to be around to get their tag title shot. We have not seen AOP since they lost the tag titles at TakeOver Brooklyn 3. So I don't know. They're going to want to come back and get their revenge on the Undisputed Era as well. But we'll see what happens there. But, all right match between Heavy Machinery and these two, jobbers as of now. We'll see where they go from there. We also had a backstage segment, an exclusive interview involving which one's first? I think, yeah, it was whenever Regal was being interviewed about NXT TakeOver Houston, and Johnny Gargano came walking on. He says, 1 second, and he says, hey, Johnny, I will fulfill your request for a rematch against Andrade Cien Almas, will happen. I think that will happen in 2 weeks. So Gargano's going to get his rematch against Almas after Almas and Zelina Vega screwed him over at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 with throwing the DIY shirt in his face. So we'll see what happens there as it does continue further on the storyline of Johnny Gargano, proving that, how talented he is in the ring, but still showing signs that, he's still hurting from the betrayal of his former best friend, Tommaso Ciampa, who we're still probably not going to see again. And as their match will probably take place at NXT TakeOver New Orleans next year. And then we had a match between Liv Morgan and Mae Young Classic competitor Vanessa Bourne. I thought this was a good match. It's the first time we've seen Liv Morgan in quite some time. I don't know if it had anything to do with the rumors of Enzo Amore cheating on her, but we got to see Liv again. Had a lot more makeup on this time too. It looked like she had like a little bit of a different look as well to her. Like it was one of those looks where it's just like, oh, wonder if she would go down the route of a heel someday. But with the look of the makeup, I thought it kind of like would make her look like like more of like a snobby snobby young girl, pretty much, or whatnot, with the look. But I mean, she's still a baby face. But the match was all right. I felt this match had got decent time. That's a lot of stuff felt a little bit rushed on this show. I like what it said. It was pretty much just a match showing who wants to get a shot in the qualifying matches for the vacate NXT Women's Championship, and Liv Morgan was making her name heard. So again, not much was to complain about the match. It was good. It was what it was. Nothing too spectacular. And then after this, before we got to the next match, again, there was a lot of matches on this card. We had another backstage promo with Aleister Black. Some comments after what happened last week when he spoke for the first time in the Velveteen Dream. Did try to shoot him down, saying all you do is look at the darkness, you don't look at the light, blah blah blah. And Aleister Black pretty much first we think he was going to talk. He was taking his time and taking the gloves off, and okay, he's going to talk again, or it was a one-time deal last week. And he was talking about how there's people who feel that they need to do things to stand out, to gain other people's attention. I refuse to fall into that for the Velveteen Dream, pretty much. So it's obvious that he is going to get his revenge on the Velveteen Dream. I don't know if they're most likely probably going to have a match sometime in the next couple weeks on NXT. So we'll have to see where that goes there. Again, you know me, I love Aleister Black. Velveteen Dream, though, I'm not fully into him yet, but I'm still kind of interested in where they're going with this angle. Now they actually are giving him something to do, since they put this gimmick on him after he came in as Patrick Clark and didn't really see they're going far with him at all. So I still want to give this Velveteen Dream gimmick a chance. I just still need to embrace it a little bit. We then had a match. It was Cassius Ohno against Fabian Eichner. I don't know who Fabian Eichner is. I don't know if he is just new or if it's just an extra coming in to help put over Cassius Ohno. Ohno got the victory here. Again, match was, it was a good, decent match. Was what it was. Nothing too spectacular as well. So here's just another, match against another no-name who just helping, get over some more talent. I think, though, it is time that we do try to start giving something to do for Cassius Ohno. He's been around since... I believe right before NXT TakeOver Orlando. So it's it'd be nice if we can kind of start getting Ohno on the pay-per-view. Well, scratch that. He was on. He was at NXT TakeOver Orlando. He wasn't on the card for Chicago or Brooklyn 3. So it'd be nice if some way we can get Ohno on the card at TakeOver Houston to get him going, because I do see a lot of talent in him as well. Big guy, the knockout artist he's known as. I've been impressed with him. I liked his, his non-pay-per-view feud with Hideo Itami. That seemed to wrap up after their no DQ match. Also, Hideo Itami, hope as well to see him again sometime soon, because I was really embracing the whole heel turn from Itami. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But again, decent match between Eichner as well to give him a nod in there. And then I believe before we get to the main event, I believe the last backstage promo that we had was the interview with Drew McIntyre for next week's match and his thoughts on Roderick Strong. And he pretty much said, I told anybody, who wanted a title shot, all I have to do is just ask him again. He said Roderick Strong, proved to me that he was worthy of the shot. He says, I even came out a few weeks ago after his match against Bobby Roode, because I thought that's what he well earned it. I pretty much just wanted to say, hey, I look forward to our match. And he said, Roderick Strong definitely has a lot of talent. He can definitely be an NXT champion, but he pretty much says he has to get through me. So kind of more more establishing. Kind of felt McIntyre was more established as the baby face, and Strong had a little bit of a heelish element in his pro, and I thought it was good. They were both good as well. So I'm wondering, with the Undisputed Era around with his former ROH buddies of Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish, you wonder if what if Roderick Strong's gonna get involved with that somehow. I really liked what they have been doing with Strong this year. Allowed us to get to know him a little bit more. Make him more of a credible superstar on NXT. But maybe a heel turn could, put him up on another level as well. So let's see what happens next week in the title match. And then we get to this main event of NXT, which was the NXT in-ring debut of Adam Cole against Eric Young. As I said at the beginning of this video, this was kind of a reason why I probably didn't give this episode of NXT as high of a grade. I was a little bit disappointed with this main event. I didn't think it really got the amount of time it deserved. I don't know if that was just me hyping up a little bit too high, but it didn't feel like, Young and Cole got much offense in on each other this match. And it seemed like it was just a little bit more focused on the rivalry that's more focused on right now, and that is, O'Reilly and Fish probably are closer to getting a tag title shot than Adam Cole is getting an NXT championship shot. And it's kind of like, I thought this match allows, get those of you who do not know Adam Cole. I mean, I don't know Adam Cole that well. I saw him on ROH, but I was impressed when I went to see ROH in Pittsburgh recently. But I did feel like this match wasn't so much focused on Adam Cole, but more focused on, Sanity and the Undisputed Era altogether. As they were still focused on taking out, O'Reilly and Fish, and then Adam Cole did sneak in the victory. So it's like it wasn't really as good of a match as I had hoped for. Like I was hoping for at least a nice, solid, not match of the year candidate, but at least something to set the table for Adam Cole as well. I just didn't feel we quite got it in this match. So that was my thoughts. That Adam Cole got the victory. That's how NXT goes off the air. We'll see what happens next week. That is my thoughts, though, on this week's episode of NXT, guys. What are your thoughts on NXT? What grade would you give NXT? If I can give a grade for it again, it was a good show. Wasn't real, but it had some. I thought it just displayed a little too much, and that main event I felt I did hype up a little too high. So I was a little bit disappointed by that. So with that, I think I'm going to give NXT this week a C+. Solid show, average show. Just I felt like it just displayed a little too much this week. But I do look forward to seeing, what's in the weeks to come in the build up to take over Houston as well. So, give me your thoughts on NXT this week. What grade would you give it? What did you like? Were you disappointed by the main event as well, or did you like it? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section, and please click that like and subscribe button for more content to come to this channel. Make sure to follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. I will hopefully sometime today or tomorrow also make my predicted match card for the next Raw Exclusive pay-per-view TLC. So hopefully I'll have that done either today or tomorrow, if not early next week. And that is it, guys. With that, I'll see you guys all later. Have a great day.